At the state capitol today, a group gathered to urge lawmakers to take more action and invest in crime prevention. Plus, a new alternative custody program is on the table in Reading.
President Trump has a new message for Iran and the anti-government protesters. I'm Natalie Brand with what he's saying as the U.S. considers its options.
Covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now. Coverage you can count on.
Another beautiful day in Northern California. You see Mount Shasta in the distance because the skies are so clear right now. This is a live look from the Round Mountain Shasta Alert California camera. Meteorologist Ray Stajic has a look at what you can expect for the day ahead.
Thank you, Linda, and good Tuesday, everyone. Actually, numbers starting to come back now as we head on through midday and this afternoon. At latest check, most of us in the low to mid 40s here from Reading down toward Chico and Willows. A little bit chillier up toward the north where earlier freeze and fog advisory. That's gone away, though, so it does look like now as we get into the afternoon, any fog or light mist around is even going away. But it's a morning where we've had jackets even into the afternoon, you may, but visibility is now beautiful across the area, about 10 miles on average. Again, where we had some advisories, it's a little bit lower as we get into the afternoon, though. Beautiful day, 67 Reading, 62 in Chico. Off toward the east with some elevation, we're a little bit cooler. Chester at 49. Also to the north, Etna, you'll be at 50 degrees, but look at Fort Bragg, 61.
All right, thank you, Ray. New at noon, activists and survivors of gun violence gathered outside the California state capitol in Sacramento this morning, urging state lawmakers to boost investment in crime and harm prevention programs. It comes less than 2 months after at least 4 people, including 3 children and 13 others, were wounded in a shooting during a birthday party in Stockton. No arrests have been made. Speakers are calling for flexible cash assistance for survivors, more funding for trauma recovery centers, and free mental health services for children and youth who witness or experience gun violence.
For years, California has failed crime victims, especially Black, brown, and those who live in underserved communities like Stockton. The state victims compensation program excludes far too many survivors and places rigid restrictions on the dollars that are meant to help people who are in crisis.
Hollins has lost brothers to gun violence and is the executive director of Californians for Safety and Justice. New at noon, the Butte County Board of Supervisors honored the late Congressman Doug LaMalfa at its meeting today.
This is passed and adopted by the Butte County Board of Supervisors this 13th day of January 2026 by a unanimous vote.
The board adopted a resolution honoring LaMalfa's life and service. He died unexpectedly exactly 1 week ago during his 7th term in Congress. Plans for his funeral service have not been announced. The resolution reads, quote, his leadership and accessibility ensured that the voices of rural and northern counties, including Butte County, were heard at the federal level, and his service earned the respect of constituents and colleagues alike. Today's Reading Planning Commission will tackle rezoning property that will be turned into an alternative custody program. In September, the Reading City Council approved a purchase agreement with Shasta County for land on East Side Road to expand the sheriff's alternative custody program and potentially build a new jail. But some neighbors are not happy with the idea. They plan to voice their concerns. The meeting starts at 4. We'll bring you a live report on tonight's news. Also today, the Paradise Town Council will hear an update on the town sewer project. The Town Council will also give direction to staff on how to allocate money from a $13.5 million conditional grant for the sewer project or Oliver Curve project. They'll also consider accepting the amended agreement with Corallo Engineers to complete the design of the sewer project collection system. And the council will also be approving the corrective action plan for the 2025 Building Division audit with planned quarterly future updates. The town released the results of the audit in November after people complained that homes built after the campfire were incomplete and substandard. Today's meeting starts at 6. A big celebration planned this Friday to mark the city of Willows' 140th anniversary. It was founded January 16, 1886. The mayor says Willows has recently overcome significant financial struggles, yet remains resilient.
We'll have some historical information out and pictures laid out, so people will kind of learn about the history of what, the town they live in, and, the strides that it's taken to get to where we are today.
Friday's celebration is free. The first 100 people will receive a commemorative gift. It's all happening at the Willows Civic Center on North Lassen Street from 5:30 until 9. President Trump is said to be considering taking actions against Iran as the death toll from anti-government protests there is on the rise. The activist group tracking the number of deaths of protesters says at least 2,000 people have been killed by the Iranian regime. Natalie Brandt has details from the White House.
Human rights groups say the death toll in Iran has exploded as anti-government demonstrations stretch into a third week.
The killing of peaceful demonstrators must stop. The labeling of protesters as terrorists to justify violence against them is unacceptable.
President Trump's national security team is discussing a range of U.S. options in Iran, from military to covert tools such as cyber operations.
One thing President Trump is very good at is always keeping all of his options on the table, and airstrikes would be one of the many options that are on the table for the commander-in-chief.
President Trump announced on social media Tuesday that all meetings with the Iranians have been canceled until the killing of protesters stops. He also said that help is on its way without specifying what.
The president made it very clear if you're killing the innocent for simply protesting, that he'll come to the rescue, and the president doesn't bluff.
Iran has warned it will retaliate if the U.S. takes military action. The exiled Crown Prince of Iran told CBS News he's urging President Trump to act quickly.
The best way to ensure that there will be less people killed in Iran is to intervene sooner so this regime finally collapses and puts an end to all the problems that we are facing.
One immediate action President Trump says he's taking, a 25% tariff on any country still doing business with Iran. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
China, which is one of Iran's largest trading partners, responded to the tariff saying it remains opposed to tariff wars, but says it will safeguard its rights and interests. The Republican-controlled House Oversight Committee is threatening to hold former President Bill Clinton in contempt of Congress after the former president did not appear for a deposition to answer questions about his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. In addition to the former president, the committee also subpoenaed former First Lady and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. In a letter to the committee, the Clintons said they would not appear because the subpoenas are legally invalid. Committee Chair James Comer said members will now move to hold the former president in contempt.
One reason I think most Americans want President Clinton to answer some questions is because he visited the White House. Jeffrey Epstein visited the White House 17 times while Bill Clinton was president. I've been in Congress 9 years. I think I've been to the White House 9 times in 9 years.
Comer also said Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's plane about 27 times after the presidency. The newest consumer price index numbers are out. Not good news, but we'll explain why analysts were expecting it to be worse. And a guest joins us with details on a new program on the Ridge to help people in need and boost community pride.